Okay, so let's talk about configuring our MyViewBoard settings. I'm going to give you what I think are the recommended settings. So I'm going to go to myviewboard.com, myviewboard.com, see the name MyViewBoard there, and I'm going to click sign in. And you're going to sign in with your school account. So you can just do sign in with Google. And then you can choose your school Google account. Obviously, I've signed in before, so yours is going to look a little different than mine. I've already configured some things. I just changed the interface too, so this is good for me to go over with you. So you're going to see all of these. You may or may not see some of these things. For me, the thing that I am interested in for you is changing your ViewBoard name, because everybody's ViewBoard name is also their SDJCCS email, or in general, your school Google account. So notice you will have a sign-in email that matches your ViewBoard name. The goal is to give yourself a ViewBoard name that is easy for you to remember and for the kids. And there's going to be a reason, because this is not just a ViewBoard name, but it is a live interactive web link that it will be creating. So as you can see, I have Teacher Jeff with 3 Fs because I have a Teacher Jeff with 2 Fs account on my ViewSonic trainer site. So what I would all I've got to do here is notice I clicked on my icon there. I can change the ViewBoard name. And it has to be, since it's a live link, it has to be something that's available. So you will test a few things. My recommendation is always use a name that the kids call you, because it's a whole lot easier. And they tend to call me Teacher Jeff. So again, if I click on my icon over here, yours will not be a picture, I'm assuming. But you have a sign-in email, and it should match your ViewBoard name. We want to change your ViewBoard name. You're going to see it's going to make it a whole lot easier. Then I'm going to just click on settings. It's pretty much all I need to do right now. So you can see here that I have, if I scroll to the top, I have my account that we're looking at right now. There I am. And then what apps I'm using, Whiteboard and Companion. I'm going to highly recommend you get Companion in a minute here. So we are going to click on App and Cloud Integration. We should have already connected to our school Google Drive account. This should already be. If you do not see it saying Google Drive, you can click and see what the link is. Are you sure want to disconnect? We do not, but I want to make sure that that star exists, so that if I click on Drive, I should be connected to my Google Drive. So I do not use my OneDrive, because I rarely use OneDrive, but we have it at our school, so you could use and connect your OneDrive account. What we're doing here is binding our web cloud integration so that we can both save to and retrieve from Google Drive or OneDrive right through the Whiteboard software. So that is a big deal to me, and you're going to see why. It's a big deal for your kids as well. I wouldn't mess around with any of the others. There's Dropbox Box. Google Classroom doesn't seem to work very well, so just trust me. Use Google Drive would be the primary. So if I want to go to Whiteboard here, now this is going to be the software that I think is what sets us apart from any other interactive flat panel. So I'm going to click on Preferences here. And you can see that we have a default theme. So these are things that I can change on my specific Whiteboard. And you're going to learn that by logging into your Whiteboard. It's very similar like logging into a Chromebook. When a Chromebook is not logged into, it's a blank slate. The minute you log into it or a kid logs into it, it becomes her Chromebook. So this is the same thing with Whiteboard. When we log in this way, then this becomes our Whiteboard software, and we can determine how it starts, what colors are, all these kind of things. Our pens, I'm going to highly recommend the light display here for themes, because the dark one can be harder to read. Absolutely do not do a session password. Display time and date in your ViewBoard Whiteboard. I like to show that. You don't have to. Do not display grid. You can always add a grid as a background, but I don't want it on every single page. And leave enable wireless presentation at startup set out there. Now, auto sign out. I think it defaults to 1 hour. I'm going to recommend one of two things. If you're freaked out about never, I choose never, because the minute you close Whiteboard, it signs you out. If you don't like the idea of never, pick 8 hours. So essentially, we don't want the Whiteboard to sign out if I'm using it during the school day. So if I have it 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, I could be in the middle of a lesson and it's going to sign out, and I've got to do something. I don't want to do that. So I leave that set to never. Scroll down to my pen settings, thin tip width. So you're going to see the boards that we have. There's a thick and a thin side of our pens, and I'm going to use 2 for both. I like it thin. You can always, inside of whiteboard, and you will learn, change the thickness. But the thinner the better for me. Thin tip color, I could set a default color. Mine, notice, is green. The default for the thin pen is red. And then notice my thick tip, which you will see when we go through the training. I also have it set to 2, but I use my favorite color of orange. Font settings, I think the default size is 20. I would kick it up to at least 80 because we want the kids to be able to see it if I'm typing. And again, these are things that I could change inside a whiteboard. I do bold, I do a default color of blue. You could change the default color. Sometimes if I change the default color to something other than blue, black, or red, which are some of the preloaded colors ready for you, it sort of alerts me that I am signed in. So once we have made those changes, and again, I can always go back and change them again, I'm just going to click Save. So I didn't change anything, but you're going to confirm your changes. Boom. We are confirmed. And you're going to see that we have a few other things. Bookmarks. We can actually create our own custom bookmarks that go through Whiteboard for us. So if you want a quick access to your Google Classroom or something like that, or tools that you use all the time, you can do that. Backgrounds, you're going to see we have access to the full suite of backgrounds, but I can upload custom backgrounds that I might want to use frequently. So here's a couple that I have. I have a coordinate plane in my Google Drive, and I have a Cornell Notes in my Google Drive. There's some MyViewBoard backgrounds that you can set as default if you want. And then these ViewSonic originals are amazing. There is a huge array of them. And as you can see, it goes 1,800 pages deep. So there are tons and tons of backgrounds that are super helpful when I'm teaching. But I'm not going to mess with that now. Magic line pen and shape pen, I'm not even going to mess with. We can talk about this later. But that is essentially all I need to make sure that is set through my ViewBoard. Wanted to keep it simple, but have something that you could refer back to at any time. So feel free to ask me questions if you have them.